Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Sillage and Sorcery, a podcast where fragrance and witchcraft intertwine. I said that kind of weird. Witchcraft. I'm B. Sampson from Venus Invictus, and I'm here with my co host.
Melissa Sifjardóttir of Sif Sniffs. This is our emergency episode because our software is on the fritz and we wanted to make sure that an episode came out on Monday, so we are recording this really quickly. We're going to start off with some random Q&A questions from our audience. So, first question, when did you know you were a witch?
I was in high school, and I'm sure it probably started a lot earlier than that, but I wasn't fully aware of what I was doing. Just like being a kid, making potions out of like plants in the yard and like making concoctions and mud pies and all that like witchy shit that children do without realizing what they're doing. But I think it was in high school when I was like, okay, this is what's going on. My heart got broken and I was so upset that I like cursed this fucker for breaking my heart. Um, he was straight, of course, like the history of queers falling in love with straight men. But it wasn't for nothing because he was a flirt, okay? Like, the fuck on. Was real touchy feely. Yeah, anyways, I had feelings. He was not into it. Wasn't featuring me. Decided to get with one of my besties at the time, and that just sent me over the edge. I was like, fuck this guy. Cursed the shit out of him. Didn't see anything happen until like years and years later. But I think it was in that moment that I was like cursing him that I was like, like throwing stuff into a cauldron, burning it, being like, I wish the worst on this person. He fucking sucks. Like, I hope he gets what's coming to him. I found out years later, right after high school, and mind you, this was probably like junior year. So there was another year, nothing happened. It was fine, whatever. I kind of like moved on, got over it. Right after high school, he got a job in construction and he fell off a fucking house, went into a coma, and had to get a tracheotomy.
Oh my god.
So listen, I don't know if it was my curse that did it, but
Where did you learn the curse, or did you just kind of come up with it on the fly?
it was just intuitive. I came up with it on the fly. It was just me burning his photo and cursing his name.
Got you. You didn't have any like Silver Raven Wolf, New Age section of Barnes and Noble.
No, I didn't. I wasn't into like the books then, just kind of doing my own thing. I actually, it was, I think I was around 18 right after finishing high school that I kind of like dove headfirst into it. My first witchy book was called Mastering Witchcraft by Paul Hewson. It's a classic. It's a good time. And then like in my early 20s, I lived in like a few like haunted houses, which was a whole thing.
In Florida or somewhere else?
Oh yeah, in Florida.
Damn.
One house I had a ghost that appeared to me. And then the second house, it was like shit was fucked up. Like we would hear people walking upstairs when no one was home. We would like just find literally there was we never saw a live bee at all, but upstairs we would find like 60 dead bees just like on the ground. And we'd be like, what the fuck? And then it really escalated at one point when I was living in that house. I was walking up the stairs and I heard get out, like right here, and nobody else was home. And it scared the shit out of me. So, yeah.
That's when I would move. I would just be like, you know what? Thank you for the heads up, and now I'm done. I'm gonna leave.
We had a house cleansing done. It was a whole thing. Someone who had lived there previously had a lot of trauma in the house. So we had them come back and she kind of like worked through it and like also helped. And like, it was a very strange thing. But yeah. So what about you? What about you? When did you realize that you were a witch?
So I remember like being 11 and playing around with stuff, but when I was 15 or 16, I had someone read my tarot cards and it was like dead on. But once I got my first tarot deck, I started like noticing that I knew things. That's the only way I can explain it to someone who does not experience the same thing. Is just like sometimes I just know things. When it came to the tarot cards, it was just a proxy for me to just say the things that I knew out loud. Which is why this past weekend I was at a fair and it was a little slow. And my booth buddy had a tarot deck. Hey, can you read my cards with this deck? And I was like, well, it's not mine, but so it's not going to be 100% accurate, but fuck it. They were like kind of impressed because it's not the cards themselves, it's like the tool.
Yeah,
And I had friends who were Wiccan
babe.
and they told me to start with Teen Witch by Silver Ravenwolf. And then I did like the Silver Ravenwolf like thing, which is not great in retrospect. Like it's very Wiccan and like very her
When I
tradition too.
started getting into the books in my early 20s, definitely had the Raymond Buckland Blue Book, like doing the worksheets. Yeah, all of that.
Can I tell you a fun fact about Raymond Buckland?
Yeah.
So my hometown is called Brentwood, and that's where he came when he first came to America.
No way.
So when I was in high school and then a little bit after college, it was me and three other girls who we called ourselves a coven, even though we didn't really do a lot. But we were just like doing the Silver Raven Wolf rituals and stuff. But two of the girls were sisters and their mom was taught by Raymond Buckland. And like Raymond Buckland is like a big thing. And so is Wicca specifically, because there's still so many people who were taught by Raymond Buckland and still live in my hometown. A bunch of people who like grew up there said that when he lived there, he used to drive around in a hearse. So
Love that. Iconic.
yeah, so that's kind of, I was definitely in high school. I would say my two big things are like clairsentience, and I can literally feel what people are feeling, and that makes people weirded out. Like, I'm not a ghost person, I'm not like the dead people, but like, I could touch you and find out what's like physically wrong with you because it will start feeling like that in my body, which is fun.
Okay.
Not speaking to the dead, not speaking to the ancestors. I cannot grow a plant for the life of me.
I love gardening so much.
Wasn't there like all the deadly stuff was in a baby coffin? I remember
That
hearing
was in our backyard.
that was your backyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I had my friends, of course, I'm friends with sideshow folks, but they had come across this like baby coffin and they were like, who wants it? And I was like, if you're offering, I'll take it. And so I stripped the whole thing, threw soil in it, and planted Datura, planted belladonna, and some hellebore as well. So,
All the stuff that could kill you.
little poison garden.
Do you have any rituals that you do before an event?
Spell wise, no. No, I just kind of go into it. I mean, I'm sure that there are things that I do that are ritualistic. Depending on what it is, like sometimes I'll anoint myself with some of Dakota's ritual oils, success, victory oil, or uh, money drawing oil. But other than that, not really. What about you?
Same. There's not much that I do when I remember, which sometimes I gotta leave my house at like 4 in the morning, so not always. But I use pyrite. Like I don't even know what it is. I just know it's called pyrite and it's from House Witch. I will try to remember to put in my coffee for the morning. And I wear Sif related jewelry.
It's a tincture. Wait, are the crystals in it? Because you were like, yeah, I like take this pyrite and I put it in my coffee, and I'm like,
No,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
pyrite
Yeah, it just
water could create sulfuric acid. Don't do that.
contains the vibrational essence. These are like designed, they say like you could put them in your coffee. I've gotten to this point that I'm like, I know not to eat stuff that like actually has the thing unless they are specifically saying you can eat the thing. And my Mjolnir with Gabo. So I try to infuse Gabo as much as possible.
I mean, the thing with my vending is that I always like Venus is my patron, if you will. I don't know what else to call her. My deity, my
Your boo boo.
yeah,
You should do the Norse thing and just call yourself child of.
child of Venus. There we go. Love that. So I have all these statues with me at every market. It's a lot of fun to bring them out and to just like spread her beautiful nature to people. So I feel like there's something devotional about that, but it's also kind of a hassle because they're very heavy, like marble statues. I used to go all out with so many statues, but nowadays I'm like, I want to reduce the amount of things I need to haul to markets. So this collection of like 6 statues that could fit in my case with the perfume, perfect.
It's real when you go to these events. For those of you who haven't vended at an event, oftentimes you have to haul at, you have to put everything either in a cart or on a trolley or whatever and haul it. So you don't want to bring it you don't really, really need. So, unlimited budget, what fragrance are you buying? Not your own, obviously.
I think what I would do if I had an unlimited budget is that I would buy one of everything at my local indie perfume store, Perfumology. They carry a lot of like niche and indie brands. I would just buy one of everything. I'm ready to make my own museum. What about you?
See, I really want a Baccarat Rouge make a real one because I only have the fake dupes. Which is horrible to admit because I am a perfumer and I feel like dupes are the enemy, but I'm not paying that much money for a bottle of perfume. But I really do like Baccarat Rouge 540 and I did wear it for a really long time. So I would kind of like a real one just to see the difference between that and all of the fakes. What is your non-fragrance guilty pleasure?
What do you mean?
I mean, I cannot step inside of a bookstore without buying something. I have books all over my house. I read a ton. I'm killing my Goodreads goal for the year. But yeah, I read books and I have books coming to my house all of the time.
By guilty pleasure, you mean like things you're just like obsessed with outside of perfumery?
Absolutely, yeah.
I would say it's probably video games for me. I play a lot of video games.
What's your favorite?
That's difficult.
Would you have like a favorite genre?
Yeah. Survival horror.
Okay, so like Last of Us.
I have an Xbox, so I've only played Last of Us once for a little bit. It's a PlayStation exclusive. I like all of the Resident Evil games. I've played and beaten most of them, except for the ones for PC. Um, yeah, like Left 4 Dead, Silent Hill, all those like spooky inventory management, zombie, post-apocalyptic games. I love that shit. Like it's the end of the world. Give me a gun.
I'm a hardcore reader. If I'm not doing something perfume related, I'm on my couch next to my puppy reading a book. What is your favorite color?
Mm. Probably like a swamp green.
Like what's in all the bottles behind you?
Yeah, a little less clear, a little bit more murky, but yeah.
The swamp witch likes swamp green.
Swamp colors, love it. My favorite palette.
You are truly an alligator. Got you.
More of a toad, but I do love alligators.
Okay, that's fair.
What about you?
Mine is red.
Any specific type of red?
Like fire engine red.
Really?
And my favorite thing with red is that I didn't realize it was my favorite color until I made my wedding registry. And then everybody was like messaging me. They're like, oh, hey, Melissa, I looked at your wedding registry. You really like red. And I was like, what do you mean I really like red? And then I looked at like the first page of it and everything was red. Like the coffee maker was red. Any of the pots were red.
I love that.
The wedding registry was red. And I was just like, I guess I really do like red. And then realized like so much of my shit, if it comes in red, I will buy it in red. Especially if it's shit from my house. I will buy it in red. My backup color is black, but
Black, classic. Most of my wardrobe is black at this point.
my bridesmaids were red. My nails were red for my wedding. I'm obsessed with red. If we want to get real specific, OPI's Big Apple Red is my favorite red.
Big Apple Red. I feel like I know this color.
All right. How did you meet your partner?
Oh, well, I moved to New York City in 2015. Yeah, in 2015. The first month I was there, I moved there in June. There was Pride, and they always do a drag march in New York City, and they also do a dyke march. And they kind of happen at the same time and both like meet up at Stonewall. So I was in the drag march, Dakota was in the dyke march, and I was with someone and Dakota was with someone, and our friends knew each other and we didn't know each other. I had just moved to the city, and Dakota wasn't like aware of who the people I was with were. So it was just kind of like one of those things where it was like I was in full drag. Dakota had just gotten off of work. So it was like we didn't really say much to each other. Dakota thought I was a bitch. That was just my drag look. And I thought Dakota was a bitch, but they were just being quiet. And yeah, so months and months later, we super matched on Tinder and we were talking and I ghosted Dakota. And then Dakota saw me on another site on Scruff and sent me another message. It was like, hey, bitch, what's going on? We're like, okay, listen, I'm new here. This is like 2016 at this point. I was like, I'm new here and like, I don't really feel comfortable meeting up with people I don't really know. Let's talk on the phone. We ended up talking all through the night like I was a fucking kid in high school from like 10 p.m. until like 5 a.m. and was like, okay, I'm going to meet you. This is going to be great. We really get along. This is perfect. And then, yeah, it's just kind of history from there. Basically, the day that I hung out with Dakota was the day that I moved in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I have a similar situation.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So I met Chris on, he hates when I tell the actual website. So I'm just going to say online.
Right.
Um, and we met up for our first date, which The Hobbit has a top note of cinnamon buns. And the reason it has a top note of cinnamon buns is because I was running late for the train from Long Island, and where I live, the train only happens like once an hour. So I got the train, but I didn't have time to get any breakfast, and it was like a day date because I met him online, so I didn't want to die. But when I was coming, I have like this memory burned into my brain of coming up the escalator in Penn Station, and he was at the top of the escalator holding Cinnabon because he knew that I forgot breakfast.
Gentlemen, that's really adorable.
Yeah, so we ate Cinnabon in like some random ass fucking place in Penn Station to like vet him and make sure he was okay. And then he remembered in our conversations before we went on a date that I really like this one restaurant, and he got reservations at like this one restaurant on the Upper East Side. So, and
Yeah.
that was our first date.
Okay. Paying attention. We like that. We enjoy that.
Yeah, we do. But like the moving in thing. So for those of you who don't know, Chris works in finance, but he had money that like as a poor chick from Brentwood was not able to do. And we met in April. So it was right after the crazy time for accountants because he's an accountant. So he was like, hey, I have vacation time. I want to take some time off. He's like, let's go on a cruise. And I was like, all right. So he paid for me to go on this cruise to Bermuda and paid for me to get an expedited passport. We had a cabin with a balcony. Like he went
Wow.
hardcore. And then a month after meeting him, we go on this cruise. And we like had to live in the cabin together and we're fine. Like we didn't really have fights. It was just like really natural for the two of us to be living together.
Yeah.
So when I came back from the cruise, my mom was like, hey, I need money from you for like this, and this. And I wasn't working at the time, which is why I could have taken a week off and gone on a cruise because I had fuck else to do. And my mom thought that like I had paid for something on this cruise because she didn't believe me that I like was dating this guy who paid for the entirety of a cruise. We got in this big fight and she kicked me out. And I told Chris about it and he was just like, well, my rent doesn't change if you move in with me. So you might as well just move in with me. And we've been living together ever since. So 6 weeks. It was 6 weeks after meeting him. I moved in with him.
Wild. I don't know the timeline. I feel like it took a while for me to officially move everything over. I think we officially decided that May Day was our anniversary. And then I was fully moved in by December. But I mean,
Yeah.
from that point, like from May 1st on, it was like I was spending, if not every day at Dakota's house, it was every other day. So it was like, I basically live here. I should just move in.
Here's a question. This is like a deep spiritual, like therapist kind of question. Are you ever afraid that you'll make some of the decisions made by the companies that we cover on the podcast?
Well, I don't foresee myself selling my company to anyone. I don't foresee myself becoming a Nazi. I don't foresee myself having employees, first of all. Second of all, ever putting employees like in a cage or fucking any other type of crazy shit.
That's a spoiler for an upcoming episode. They haven't heard the putting employees in cages yet.
We could cut that if you want.
No, we're keeping it because now everybody's gonna be like, hit the subscribe button.
Yes. Subscribe, comment, share. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I can't really say. Like, I wouldn't think so, though, because I think that for all of the ones that we've covered, more than anything, they're all luxury brands. Yeah, I don't think so. What about you?
Hey, this is like a legitimate fear that I have, which is why I wanted to ask you about it. Because I think maybe not for you, but like I'm in this like I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get my company out there. I'm trying to get people to like know what the fuck Sif Sniffs is. Right? Like that's like the biggest thing of why I wake up at 4 a.m. to do a fair in New Hampshire or Maine or wherever the fuck state I'm going to today is just to kind of like get that exposure.
Yeah.
And I am kind of afraid that I'm going to do something in that trying to get exposure, not necessarily the going to the fairs part, but just that overall bigger dialogue of trying to get exposure that people might not love. One of the things too is like you said that you don't have an employee. I have an employee, kind of, not really. I have an independent contractor. They can pick which fairs that they work with me on. But like I definitely pay them. I just hired them, by the way. We just hired them on Monday. But yeah, and if I was making more money, I would do more of like a profit sharing thing. So I think like I would love to get more of like a co-opt or any of these other kind of company designs. But I'm also focusing mainly on growth right now and like having a company that's sustainable and trying to do that.
Same. I mean, I think for me, like I really want to like grow my brand and like get out there. I think the goal would be to one day have a perfumery that people can come to. That would be amazing. I love owning like a storefront. I think that is like such a incredible thing to have and to do, is to be a business owner in that way. But I don't know. I don't foresee that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it kind of sucks when you're like as small as we are because you can have like one good fair that will make up for like an entire fucking month or like be a month's worth of sales that you made in 5 hours, and then you could go for like 3 weeks with not much to anything.
Yeah. Crazy.
And that's kind of hard too to like keep people on payroll and to like do any of that stuff. I will say, and this might make me shitty, but I don't think it will make me shitty. Les Wexner. I don't like him as a person, but I do like that his original business model was if I sell things at a lower profit margin, but sell it to more people, I can make the same amount of money. All of his companies, not all of them, were all inventive in the way that like they went after the middle class and like lower middle class and working class.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really cool. But I like this idea of like appealing to the middle and below classes at a less, like, without the crazy markup. Um, and I like that idea. And I think like he was successful in that way. And that is definitely something I want to bring into Sif Sniffs, is less about individual profits on the item, but more about like volume. And that might be shitty long term, but that is definitely something I want to bring in, because I feel like there's not a lot of brands that are specifically designed for middle class and under.
Yeah, that's true.
And the ones that are like either horrible, like Walmart and Amazon. I think there's way more of a market for people and like of middle class and lower. And that might be considered shitty in the future, or like, why is she going after these people, especially when I know that my husband works in finance? But I just feel like that makes more business sense, and it also for me makes more ethical sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's a weird business conversation. What's your favorite part about doing the podcast? To lighten this shit up a little bit.
I think my favorite part is your part. I love learning about these brands and these people that I don't fucking know. Cause I don't keep up with like pop culture shit. Like I'm just out here doing my own thing, making my own perfume, like living my best life. I'm really into like ingredients and like the chemical composition of them and like how they interact and like how scent triggers memory and like all of this. So it's like when it comes to like the mainstream of it all, yeah, it feels like I'm listening to like a novella when I hear the shit that you tell me about these companies. It's amazing. What about you? What's your favorite part?
I really like interacting with people,
Yeah,
especially other perfumers. I think that that's really fun.
I do like when we interview folks. It's a lot of fun.
But also, like, on our social media, we have a bunch of people who follow us who are also indie perfumers and are also coming out with cool stuff, even if we haven't interviewed them. And to know about kind of what's happening in the indie and niche fragrance space through like a community that we've built is really, really fun.
Yeah,
I think that's the best part, is not just the recording and the research, even though that's fun as hell, especially when I'm figuring out and finding out all of the dirt on all these companies, but also kind of creating a community of people who are all into the same things we are. Usually we edit it out, but a lot of the perfumers, when they come on, the first thing they say is like, it's so good to be with people
yeah,
who know what it's like to infuse witchcraft and perfumery. And I never get to have these conversations with people. And when I do, they look at me weird. And that's always kind of fun to be that space for people.
yeah. I love finding our witchy perfumer family. Very
Absolutely.
cool. Very cool. I do want to interview some people who are not witches, though, about perfumery.
Maybe that's for season 2. We'll start interviewing some non-witchy perfumers who are just perfumers.
I like that.
Now this is the last one.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time working on this one.
Okay.
2 truths and a lie. One of these is a lie. The other 2 are truths. So either A, I love Rocky Horror and regularly go to shows where I dress up like Magenta.
Okay.
B, I won a medal for forestry in high school and applied to a dendrology program in college. Dendrology is the study of trees. Or C, when I was 17, I was training to be a power lifter and ripped a car door off with my bare hands.
I feel like you set this up for it to sound like C is the lie.
I'm not saying anything until you choose. And you say final answer because it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire rules.
C is final answer. That's the lie.
Incorrect.
You ripped the car door off with your hands?
Yep. So whenever I play 2 truths and a lie, I always have that I ripped your car door off with my bare hands, and everybody always picks it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was training to be a power lifter when I was in high school. Mainly it started because when I was in gym class, I was beating guys on the football team in lifting heavy shit. So there was a gym teacher at the time who was a power lifter. So she was like, hey, if you're into it and like are willing to stay after school, I'll train you. I didn't actually compete. I just kind of like trained to be a power lifter. And then I got really, really angry. I'm not going to go into it because my childhood was a mess, but I got really, really angry and I slid open the sliding door on a minivan and it came off of the track. And then my dad couldn't put the door back. So he just took duct tape and put duct tape on the bottom, threw it over the roof of the car, and just told my mom to not go faster than 30.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So what was the lie here? The tree thing?
No, the tree thing is true. I was a science Olympiad. I even went to like state competition at West Point was where like the state competition was. Yeah, and I won the Suffolk County medal in forestry. I'm very good with trees. And if I look at a tree, I can tell you like what genus it is. More than likely. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing is a lie. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I can see that for you.
Yeah, I've seen it hundreds of times, but I've never seen it live.
I've seen it like 5 times.
I know when to throw toast. I know when to bring a water gun. Like, I know all of it. I'm into the lore of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
But I have not seen it in real life. And if I go, I'm going to have a red V on my forehead. And I cannot wait for the day. I know I give off big Rocky Horror energy, which is fine. I've seen the movie.
Nothing wrong with
at home, just not like seen it live or like seen it a live showing of it or anything like that. And if I was to dress up, I would absolutely dress up as Magenta.
Yeah.
She is my favorite character. All right, 2 truths and a lie for you.
Okay, let me think about this. So, I've been in a Japanese street fashion magazine. Like photographed and like was in a Japanese street fashion magazine. I've gone skydiving and I've worked at Forever 21.
I think skydiving's the lie.
I'm not good at this. I'm scared of heights.
Well, I know that you've done modeling.
The only modeling I feel like I've really done was hand modeling. I was in a, do you know those like fancy like hand sanitizer? Yeah. I was in an ad.
Oh, B was a hand model and is in a Touchland commercial.
Never been skydiving. Shit. Call my bluff. Damn. Yeah, I'm not good at lying.
It's just the car door one is one that I use all of the time. So I have that like, I have the I win 2 truths and a lie all of the time, just based off of that alone.
That blew my mind. I was not prepared. I was like, the obvious lie here. Hello. But then, and also I was like, is this a red herring? Is this real? Maybe not. Maybe this is.
It absolutely is a red herring. Yeah. It's the reason why when I was a therapist, I was in charge of the anger management group. Then I had all these kids who were like, Miss Melissa Ben Steele. And I'm like, yep.
Here I am.
This is correct.
You just take a steel out of your bag and bend it in front of them.
No, I mean, I'm not like that.
That would be incredible.
Like, when you need someone to lift a 75-pound bin full of perfume.
There we go.
I'm your girl.
Comes in clutch.
All right, well, this was a lovely episode.
This was an episode. Thanks for joining us.
I hope that everybody feels like they know us a little bit better. All right, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Shut up, babe. Go away. He's listening to this whole fucking conversation. Asshole. I mean, are you wearing clothes?
Well, I put something in the wash.
But I mean, are you currently wearing clothes? Because I'm recording. Okay, thank you. Yes, you can wait since you're not wearing clothes.
Just running around the house naked, bitch. I am the same fucking way. I'm like, once this camera goes off, the clothes are coming off, honey.
Correct. Okay, welcome to our marriage.